All right, guys, back by popular demand, one of my favorite people, one of the craziest dudes I know, okay? My brother, almighty M80. And happy birthday to M80, too.
I got my dog Milo with me.
How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. It's my 44th birthday, and it's the release of my book. So today is one hell of a day. Making some money, feeling good, feeling the love from the people.
Right. And you guys make sure to go to his website, 100ways.myshopify.com to buy his new book, okay? I ordered my copy. This is a collector's item for sure, man. I've been checking out the PDF download of it. This is crazy.
Okay, so let me blow your mind.
Your commentary is just insane, okay? Your little side notes that you throw in. Yeah.
I'm gonna blow your mind 2 times. One, there's never been a book written like this in the history of literature. So that's pretty fucking awesome. I set a precedent for cool pimp shit in literary form. 2, I know people all over the world, man, and it is, people are saying that the year 2025 has been more of a financial burden for them than during the pandemic. And that being said, if you can afford to buy my book, of course, I want you to buy it. All right. Like, I've put a lot of time, a lot of effort and energy into it, but I have made it for free for digital download for anyone, anywhere in the world that may not be able to afford it. Maybe times are tough, or maybe you just want to read it, but you don't want to pay me. So go to the website, 100ways.myshopify.com, or click the link in my Instagram bio, and you can just click on it says free digital download. And there's also a curated playlist, which you can access for free on Spotify. That's like essentially the soundtrack of the book. It's the best song I've A&R'd every year from 2004 to 2025. So 22 tracks featuring, Jay-Z, Nas, DMX, Eminem, Wu-Tang Clan, Snoop, Chino XL, Tech 9, E40, like you name it.
Right, man. And you know what? Why did you do that? Why did you put it for free in that way? Why did you not put it on an ad site where you could at least get a little coins, you know what I mean, for people visiting the page or something?
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay, got you.
That's like, for instance, I chose not to go Amazon. I chose not to go Barnes and Nobles and all that shit. That would clearly make me more money. But I want people to get it from me so I can autograph the books, personalize it, so people that we can have that kind of interaction together, like I'm the one that checks all my social media and shit. So it's like, I'm always the one like talking bad. People just really think that's like, damn, like you respond quick, like it's you, like it's, like I'm a people person, man. So it's like, I want more. I'd rather have more eyes on the book because I'm proud of it than the money.
Right.
Like, I'll make the money elsewhere. We're good.
That's true, man. So the book is called 100 Ways I've Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry, based on a fuck ton of true stories. How you feeling about the finished product, man?
So this is hilarious. There was a chat, look, this happened a few times. I would keep a log of what I wrote every day, and it'll say, like 7 hours, and I did the Rasul chapter, or I did the Lady London chapter, or whatever I'm working on, and I'd keep a log. A couple times, I'd save the work and it would go missing. So when I was writing the book in the last part, where there's 16, 17 stories that's persons and stories that weren't interesting enough to get their own chapter, but they're still interesting. It's just I'm not giving it as much shine as I would the Inspector Deck chapter, or the Rock Kim chapter, or whatever. There was a chapter on Wu-Tang management, and I put it in the unimportant part, and I'm like, no, it's important. Let me find somewhere for it. And I must have been fucked up while I was writing, because I cut it and I never pasted it into the book again. It's gone.
Oh, man.
So I was telling Power, I'm like, yeah, did you see in your part where I say you're my favorite person in Wu-Tang management? And he's like, no. And I'm like, hold on, let me find it. And I'm like, oh my God, wait. No, maybe it is there. Oh shit. Maybe I'm just stupid. Hold on. Okay, so on the final version, I accidentally left out the Wu-Tang management part. But on my book, on my version, it says it says chapter 62 is Wu-Tang management, but I left that out. So that was crazy. So literally, because I chose to take it out of the unimportant ending chapter shit, Yeah, so that's just a lost file for some other time.
That's for chapter of that's for the second book.
There will not be a second book.
No?
This is like the most toxic writing experience of all time. And, I'm proud I wrote it. Like, you got to get the shit off your chest at some point, but I really want people to see, dude. Trust me, there's way more shit behind the scenes than what you could possibly fathom. And, it's honestly a miracle that I'm still here.
Did you find it therapeutic to write?
Yes. Yes, because I love that fuck shit. And it is 9 years of fuckery in book form. Detailing like a good portion of my life. Some of these stories start from the late 90s to the present day.
It took you 9 years to write it total?
No, it didn't take me 9 years to write, but I came up with a concept in 2016. The book was originally called Who's Your A&R? And it was just my best stories in chronological order from working with Wu-Tang and C-Ray's Walls and Keith Murray and Canibus. That's what that book was going to be about. And then I'd start writing the chapters and like shit would change. Like something like maybe I'd fall out with someone or like, and I'd stop writing for a while and then go back and revisit it. So then I came up with the idea to call it 100 Ways of Almost Bad Work in the Rap Industry like 2 years ago. And that's when the theme just came together and it made it an easier writing experience because all the stories happen. They're all in my head. So it's like, okay, I'm going to buckle down. The main thing I did in, I think, January of this year was put together the table of contents. Who am I going to talk about in this book? Then every night when I'd sit down to write and say, I'd just pick someone like Raz Kaz or Crooked Eye, then I'd be like, okay, what's their story? And it would just float out of me. So if I wrote for 4 hours to 10 hours a night, like, yeah, it's just like, it was ease. There was no real writer's block because I'm just telling you stories that actually happened.
So you didn't have an editor at all for the book. It's literally from your Word document to the book. That's it.
Yeah. And, I had some people like, it's funny because I knew this was going to happen. Like, I proofread it a bunch of times and clearly I missed some things. And I had other people proofread it as well. And clearly they missed some things. But like, while I'm proofreading it, while I'm having other people proofreading it, like we're drinking, we're getting fucked up. And it's like, so it's like,
it looks good. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, you can only pay so much attention. Like, it'd be funny when someone would catch like a word here and there, but it's like, I know there's going to be errors. Like someone said in my Cannabis Dizaster book, they're like, dude, there's like 50 fucking errors in here. I'm like, awesome.
Yo, there's a shit ton of errors in here. I'm not going to lie, M80. I was reading through it. I was like, this makes it even more fucking hilarious that there is so many errors. It makes it so much more M80 like because of that, though.
So I wrote the book like when you read it, it's like I'm talking to you. Okay, that's
exactly.
For one. And some people don't like that, but that's my perspective on it. Like I want you to feel like you're in the room in a scenario where I'm getting punched in the face, or you're in the room where I'm like pistol whipping a motherfucker or whatever. So that's fun. But yeah, like, dude, it's a rap book. Like, like maybe when I segue later in life to being Matthew Markoff, the professor at UCLA or some shit, then I'll be more professional about it.
And then you can have your little accent too, according to the novel.
Yeah. You got to read it in my different voices and all that shit.
Right. So are you going to do an audio version of the book?
We'll see, dude. I originally had intended on it for like middle of 2026, but it's also one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I want to carry over the energy into the new year.
Okay.
Like how long do I really want to continue like proving to the world I'm right in the Chino scenario? How long do I want to continue making Agallah look fucking dumb for not just fucking playing his part, like that kind of shit. I think one of the funniest chapters in the end there, the Rasul chapter, according to my notes, I wrote it on April 19th, 2025 for 9 hours and it was gone. It was all gone. So I'm like, I'm not about to spend 9 more hours writing this shit again. So I spent like 2 hours and give it a condensed version, threw it to the end of the book. But like, that's the last fist fight I've been in. And, that's a good story there. But he's working on an album now and his partner was like, we have to hire M80. And so he asked me like, hey man, I know your fee's like 20 grand. I got like 10. Can you work with it? I'm like, yeah, give me the 10 grand. And I think that's like the funniest shit in the world. Like getting paid from, like Rasul didn't pay me, but you follow where I'm going with this. Like,
Right.
I'll beat your ass and now I'm getting paid to fucking like stamp your shit. Um, yeah. And we laugh about it now when we see each other. Like, and I called him. I'm like, you can actually call me now and boss me around a little because essentially I'm working for you. And yeah, that's what that is. So I like stories like that. Any stories that end with me coming out the victor plus getting paid, those are good life stories for me.
I just think it would be such a different experience to hear you do the audio version because you're so crazy. I feel like you would do your own like sound effects and everything like that,
Yeah.
and like it would be insane. Like you're just so animated that it would be like another thing to hear.
I'm not ruling it. I'm not ruling it out. Well, we will see. We will see.
Got you. Yeah. So you guys make sure you guys go to 100ways.myshopify.com to buy the book, man. I got the hardcover. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like you came up with this idea of almost like a coffee table book. You know what I mean? Like you just like open it and just like read whatever.
I think what I've been telling people, look, it took me forever to write, and I don't expect you to sit down in like 1 or 2 nights and read the whole shit. You'll probably get the best reading experience out of it if you read like 1 or 2 chapters a night and digest it and pick it up, and keep it going that way. And that way you got something to read for like 40 plus days.
Did you have anybody reach out to you that was mentioned in the book?
Yeah.
Anything you can say?
I had someone, I'm not going to mention it. I had someone that I think we touched on a little in the last interview that was really upset about the priest chapter. Like a friend of priests. Right. And they asked if they were in the book, and I said yes, and they got upset. But I'm like, there's no need for you to be upset. Like, you're only mentioned in a positive light. And like, still, like, that's fucked up. Like, we're priests. I was with Benny the Butcher the other day, and Benny was signing some shit for the autograph memorabilia raffle, and we see each other when he comes to town. But Benny was formerly signed to Holy Tweeter Productions. I don't know if a lot of people know that or not. Like, I've always believed in Benny. I'm insanely proud of everything he's accomplished in his career. And Benny was like, so what's the story about me in your book? And I told him about the one time I walked into their Airbnb, and as soon as I walked in, I knew I was walking into some shit. It was just me. There's like 10 of them, and they're all like arguing at me about some shit. And I could tell Benny was going to whoop my ass. And like, I probably would not have been able to prevent this. And I like grabbed his fist, and I'm like, hey, not today. I got a lot of shit to do. Important meetings. I need my face to be pristine. We'll pick this up another time. And I literally just walked out of the house, and they were so dumbfounded. They're like, did we just let him leave? Like, go get him. I was already in my car. And Benny knows where I live and shit. He's been in the house like for fucking New Year's parties and stuff like that. Like we used to host a lot of fight parties and shit and have 30, 40 people all throughout the house on any given night. Prior to me becoming a dad. So I'm on my way to go to a meeting in what they call Mid City. That's where my attorney's office is. And on my security cameras, I can see their rental car driving back and forth from my house. And then one of the guys calls me, and I'm like, dude, I can see you guys driving in front of my house. Like, I'm not there. Like we'll pick this up another time. And, we smooth shit out in the, eventually, obviously, because we still work together. But the beautiful thing about the ups and downs with Benny is I met 38 Spesh through Benny. And Spesh, he flew in from Jersey and took a consultation with me. And from that consultation for $500, we've gone on to make millions, dude. To Trust is like a fucking household name. And I've worked on albums from 38 Spesh and Conway and Ito and Fred the Godson, rest in peace, and Flea Lord and Planet Asia and Graph and OT The Real. And I'm about to start a new record with OT The Real this coming week. And that's a beautiful thing. And Spesh eventually made sure that, he let Benny know, like, hey, regardless of how you feel about M80, like, he's doing a lot of good for me. And that helped smooth shit over. And so now we're all good and we all move as a unit.
Can you talk about how you met Benny? Because I don't think we've ever talked about that. And like what your first impression was of him.
I met Benny This could be the first or second time I met him. So I'll give that disclaimer. I was invited to see Eminem at Irving Plaza in New York for the Grammys. Irving Plaza holds like 1,000 people, okay? And you got Eminem performing. It was the best Eminem show ever because there was no like backing tracks and all that shit. It was, the room's so small, everything was live. If you see Eminem in a stadium or an arena, chances are, there's some lip syncing and playing, backing tracks and the whole nine. And you have to do that because you're filling vocal to an arena. So I believe that's when we met. And I told him who I was and like, hey, West Side was there and Alchemist and Paul Rosenberg and I think Stack Selector and shit. But like, I want to work with you and this is who I am and all this shit. Then we met again at a Def Jam party, for Paul Rosenberg when Paul was the president of Def Jam. Then Benny was going on tour. It was his first ever tour. And I'm sorry, I fast checked a little. After meeting Benny, and then he introduced me to Spesh, I was doing the Ghostface album. This is 2018. So I put Benny on the Ghostface album, Benny and Spesh on Buckingham Palace. And then Benny was doing his first tour, and it was, I think, primarily West Coast dates. It was booked by like Gage and Sean Strange and shit. They were a part of that. And Beans really like sat us down and was like, look, like M80 will fuck with you and he can do everything for your career, but like, please do right by him. And eventually those words fell on like deaf ears. Like I like brought my PR network and marketing network into the program to help Benny with Chan Talk 3 when Westside was kind of MIA. And then brought him to like different booking agencies and stuff. And then after Chan Talk 3 dropped, it's like, dude, he had the world in the palm of his hands. He had people calling, offering $500,000 plus. I remember when one year at my New Year's party, I pulled him to the side and I said, look, dude, like I guarantee you in the next year, we get those $1 million phone calls. Like it's coming. It's all coming together. And Chan Talk 3 was the first Griselda album that wasn't like just a limited run. I was like, we're going to press as many of these motherfuckers as we can. Like, you know how like Hitler Wears Hermes series, there's like 250 vinyls, 500 vinyls. When they're gone, they're gone. And then you couldn't get any more.
Right.
So we never did that with Chan Talk 3. Like you can still this day go buy a copy of Chan Talk 3 and either it's first pressing, second, third, fourth, whatever it is. Like, but the fact of the matter is it never went out of supply. And that album was the first to have marketing behind it. So you had Joe Pesci 38 on like Double XL and allhiphop.com and The Source and, blowing up. Whereas Conway and Westside never had that level of press before. And then eventually those guys would adapt Matt Conway and my other PR people to work their programs as well.
So where exactly did the issues stem from between you guys to begin with, though?
Okay, so this isn't just like particular to Benny. This happens to me all the time. I'm not part of BSF. I didn't come from Buffalo. Just like, I'm not from the Wu-Tang Clan. I'm not from Staten Island. I'm not from Park Hill. I'm not from New York. So I'm always an outsider in any of these equations. And it doesn't matter. Either you're going to be a strong artist. Like, I know Benny, I believe Benny fought this as long as he could. A lot of people were in his ear like, we don't need the white guy. We're good now. Like, we're on. So you can choose to use somebody or not. Like, if I'm only bringing money to the table and opportunity to the table, why would you get rid of me? Why would you get rid of that person serving the function? But the fact of the matter is, more and more people were in his ear that he gave like candor to. Like, okay, and a lot of people thought their jobs were like perhaps not so secure with me in the photo. I had to deal, or with me in the picture. I had to deal with that with DMX. DMX absolutely loved the shit out of me, and we only saw each other like 4 or 5 times a year for work, and then we'd hang out from there. But every time we'd work, I'm bringing a giant fucking bag to the table. So it's like I had that conversation one time with Pat Gallo, aka Divine Bars. Like, you don't have to worry, dude. I don't want to be you. I don't want to be DMX's manager. Every time I'm with DMX, my life's in fucking danger. Like, He'd get in the car smoking a blunt with a fucking gallon of Hennessy, going 70 and a 30 through a residential neighborhood. Like, there's like little shit like that, you know? Or like maybe we'd be at a pool hall and someone would say the wrong thing and he wants to stick a pool cue across someone's face and the whole bar erupts in a fight. So it's like, I never really got to have that conversation with Benny's team. Like, I don't want to be you. Just allow me to be me and you guys do your shit. See, I don't work for any one artist. I don't work for any one label. Holy Tweeter Productions is the world's first A&R firm. I do 12 different functions for 200 some artists, and I work with who needs what in any given day, week, or month, right? So ultimately, he let his people get the best of him and be like, we don't need him. But to that point in time, all I'd done was bring opportunity to the table, and even had signed Benny for this project with Bronze Nazareth that was called The Bronze Butcher, that I knew as soon as Benny was taken off that the record wasn't going to happen. If we could have made it pre-Tan Talk 3, sure, I'm sure we could have come back and that would have been great. But after that, then everything was Alchemist and Hit Boy and Lil Wayne and you know, like the big names. So, you know, it was really tough to break that to Bronze. Like, hey, we're not doing this project. But, you know, they took care of me. It wasn't without, like, you know, favor. And then the funny thing is the beats that Benny picked for the Bronze Butcher are the beats we used for Crooked Eye and Bronze Gravitas. So if you go back and listen to Gravitas, imagine hearing Benny on those tracks. He picked those beats. It's kind of like he A&R'd that album.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So what led up to the moment that they wanted to jump you and then you left?
And this again is all just like, I probably said some things I shouldn't have said, but again, I thought I was talking to like, well, people that had Benny's interest and my interest at heart. Come to find out they really just had Benny's interest at heart. These aren't my fucking friends. I get comfortable in social settings. Like if I'm in a room with Benny and he's with, say, 20 of his people, I feel comfortable because ultimately I know Benny's the shot caller. Right?
Right.
So Benny's shooting 2 music videos that day, and I'm involved in both. There's scenes they're doing for 97 Hove, and I have the Jay-Z gold plaque, his first ever one, for the song Dead President. Then we did the video for Scarface Meets Sosa Part 2, and I'm in the kitchen cooking up, and I don't think you see my face, but like it's me. I'm one of the cooks. And so I'm there, and Westside's there, and City Boy, and Jake and some of Benny's people and shit, Jimmy. And they're asking me about my contract with Benny. And they're like, well, you know, Benny's going to do this album with Smoke DZA and Johnny Snipes or whatever his name is. You know, he got us this home studio and, you know, he had all this weed and catering and you got to do something nice like that, M80. And I'm laughing. I'm like, bro, I've rented out where like the Atlantic Records studio where like Wiz Khalifa and Ty Dolla $ign, like, yay, it's a lot better than your fucking makeshift home studio. Like, so I'm laughing, you know, I'm making fun of them and they felt away about that. Like I'm downplaying the shit that Smoke DZA and them are doing. But then, you know, I probably said something along the lines of like, like Benny can't do any other records until this is done. In his contract, it was Tana Talk 3, then this. And I agreed to like do all the, like I put money into the marketing and stuff like that for Benny's Tana Talk 3 with no like, there's no financial anything for me in that. I did that because if that album blew up and then my shit was next, it would make my shit bigger and better, right? It makes sense. So they went back when we finished the video, like me and Benny had to sit down and talked about like, you know, like Steve Rifkin wanted to work with him and all these people. And I was explaining to Benny like how the multipliers work when it comes to advances and stuff. So like, you know, I think Steve had offered like $500,000. And I told Benny, I'm like, do you need $500,000? He was like, who the fuck doesn't need $500,000? I'm like, if you, this is after like, you know, Chan Talk 3's out now and killing it. I'm like, how much money do you make if you put out a project right now? And this is 2018, 2019. So let's say that number then was $250,000. And let's say now it's like $1 million. But if you can make $250,000 yourself, you go do it yourself. unless you absolutely need the money. That's when you take the advance money. Because when you take the advance money, the industry multiplier, let's say, is times 2.5 to 3.5. So if you take $500,000, chances are, before you even factor in marketing, manufacturing, all these other associated costs, you don't see another dime on your product. It doesn't matter if you're getting a 50-50 split, a 80-20, a 70-30, whatever it is. That's the business. You're not seeing another dollar until that's made, like, say, $1.7 million. So why would you not make the extra $1.2 million if you could? So Benny's like, yo, you're right. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to hold off on that because right now I'm doing great. So when Benny did the deal with Def Jam, let's say it was for $1 million plus, that's a smart play for him because it doesn't matter with that. Again, this is from the outside looking in. I don't know of the money, whether it's $1 million or $1.5 million or $2 million, where all the money's going. Like Alchemist got to get paid, Hit Boy's got to get paid, so on and so forth. The Feet Lil Wayne's got to get paid. But ideally, you're putting an amount of money in your pocket that you didn't make or couldn't make at the time from doing it yourself. And that's when taking the advance is justified. So it's like 9 a.m. and I'm on a call and I get a call from Benny, like pissed. And he's like, I need you to come to the house. And they're staying at an Airbnb like 5 minutes from me. So I get there and they're like, Jake said, you said, like, I'm your slave. And I'm like, I did not say you're my slave. I said, I was like, your next album has to be this album per contract. And I wrote his contract like someone that's never seen a contract before. So I didn't give him the whole like legal mumbo jumbo shit like I would do for Rakim or Wu-Tang that's seasoned and like has seen these contracts for 15, 20, 30 years. I wrote it like actually breaking down like the money split. Like you never see dollar signs in contracts, it's always percentages. That's how they keep it vague. So he's like, my attorney thought your contract was fucking dumb. And I'm like, dude, I know how to write a contract. I went to law school. I specialize in advanced contracts and litigation. I wrote that so you felt comfortable. They were like making fun of what they did with my advance money. And just basically like, we're not going to do your record and we're going to get you your money back. And it was a lot for me to hear in the moment because like, I don't think that had to happen. Like, I'm glad, really honestly, glad that we still have a good rapport today. And in the moment, I was like, you're really letting your people that are essentially hanger around types, like they're yes men. And I'm not a yes man. Like I'll tell you, like, don't do this, like what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. So essentially, yeah, that one was gone. Like, and I laughed, feeling defeated. Like, Benny had thrown some verbal jabs at me that really hit home about like, you do a lot of good for a lot of people, but a lot of people don't respect you. And my dumbass is like, I sold the respect a long time ago for a double dose of the money and the power, which is something I've been saying for the longest time because I know I'm not the most respected person in the game. How could I be? A lot of people feel about me how Benny's people on the outside looking in felt about me. They're like, we don't need this guy. Like, he's not BSF. He's not from Buffalo. We could do it ourselves. But you didn't do it yourself until some people like me helped put you in the position. And now the people that are just like, they need you to succeed. Benny takes care of like fuckloads of people, bro. When we talked about that in the in the green room the other day, I was like, look around, bro. You are literally responsible for all these people being here. I don't have that. Like, I take care of me and my family, dude, and some of my very closest friends, as you have heard from shit like, Chino and, my videographer and friend Westlife, like, did such a good job the past year. I went and bought him a fucking Mercedes convertible and, Planet Asia has been with me for 27 years. Here's a Mercedes truck, like that kind of shit. But it's like, like I said, I'm glad that the bright side of the scenario was no one got killed. No one got hurt. I brokered the Benny feature on the Mick Jenkins album. That was a humongous paycheck for him and big. That record did insanely well. I've helped put Benny in show situations and feature situations and shit like that. Like, I'm never going to be there to work another Benny album because he's always going to already have those deals in place now. Like, anytime he becomes a free agent with any label, there's going to be someone that wants to pick him up immediately. Like, it's always a numbers game. It always makes sense. And that's how a lot of these independent dudes operate. But I'm grateful for all the work that came of it with 38 Special, and that, like Benny knows that, like, Special vouches for me now. And, we could just like sit in the same room and shoot our shit. And I told him, I'm like, who you're with right now, like Chase Infinite, that's the right fit. Like, that's a good look. I respect the fuck out of Chase. I don't know if it's mutual. He's always very cordial to me, and he's like best friends with Planet Asia, and Asia is my guy for 20 some years. So that's really what I'm glad we're at that point now. It's like, I don't need anything from you, you don't need anything from me, and now we can just like be proud of one another.
No doubt, man. When Shady signed Conway and Westside Gun, why didn't they sign Benny too?
Benny wasn't known like that yet. Both Conway and West had way more material out there. So that's really all that was. One of the other things that kind of pissed them off, just to go back to the other story, when they were making that What Would Sheen Gun Do? I was talking with Crooked Eye, and Crook told me, he's like, Paul just called me and asked if he needs to call you to get like clearances for Benny's appearances on this album. So I call Westside. I'm like, look, like, Paul hit Crook about wanting to know if I need to sign off for Benny's verses on and he's like, why? Benny signed to Griselda. I'm like, well, he has this pre-existing contract with me, and that we need to like settle. And eventually the attorney bought me out. It was literally just for exactly what I put into it. Didn't make, there was no profit to be had there, though the profit would have been like an extra like 80 grand. That would have been nice to have.
Right.
But, again, it's me doing something nice for two reasons. One, I want to keep my life. And if these dudes are already rolling past my fucking house on my security cameras just because, then this would definitely give them more reason to. And two, like, I don't want to stifle a record. Like, I'm not going to withhold the world from having this Griselda album that may be the only one we ever get. So, I felt good about that for both reasons. Like, I made it very easy on Benny as an attorney. Hey, let's get me out of the equation. And then that way, Paul and Def Jam, they didn't need any kind of like clearances from me or sign-offs for Benny's appearances. And, everyone got to save face and play the role of the hero.
For sure. So after our last interview, our best friend Agallah was very upset with you for what you said about him. This made it so that I am mentioned in the book, okay, which I was very pleasantly happy about. Anyways, our clip comes out and he contacts you and says, why you letting Panda Chop use you?
Yes.
Oh, we were cool. Panda is the reason why some other person can't come out in public anymore in his hood. He then bans you from New York, saying you can't come through. His homie's going to make sure of it. I will
be in New York on the 13th to the 19th.
Right. And then you tell him, you're like, the next time I'm in New York, I'll be sure to let you know.
November 13th to the 19th. Anyone that wants it, like, but you can't just be a random, like, it has to be someone that I genuinely would like to fuck up. So yeah, Ag, I'll be there the 13th to the 19th, bro. It's nothing for me just to fucking lay you out. But Panda Chop, and no, listen, I have a fucking doctorate. I'm not, if I felt like I was being used or manipulated for clicks and shit like that, I'd end the damn interview. I'd get up and go. I got plenty of shit to do every day. So no, I'm sorry, Agallah, if you feel like you were taken advantage of in interviews you've done in your history, but I don't feel that way about me and my stories and my life plight. And, so sorry, that does not apply here. And that's like, even, Kill Priest had the same problem, bro. Like, Priest and I were friends again. And then he's like, won't talk to me because of what I said about our history in the first interview I did with you. I'm talking about shit that happened in the past. Yeah, I could choose to not talk about it, but what fun is that? Yeah, the whole book's about these kind of stories. So it's like Agallah, like, yeah, dude, until you started to pop off again, we were fine. I saw you backstage at the Ghostface show and shit. Agallah was funny. He was like, M80 was trying to cop a plea. bro, Ray Westlife was holding me back from knocking this motherfucker out.
Mm.
Like, he walked up to me straight with the apology. I was blown away. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, before I could even acknowledge who was apologizing to me, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And then I just went to go talk to Ghost and left with Agallah, Ray, and fucking Graham Jones. But like, now Agallah, you know, well, he's got mental issues. A lot of these dudes do. It comes with the territory. You know, they're never going to relive their glory days. No one ever told them to practice like financial stability and, you know, like really be smart with your finances and your resources and stuff like that. A lot of them fucked off everything they had. Like I got artists that their yearly is my monthly, or like their yearly is worse than my monthly. But I can't, I'm not you. I can't rap your fucking songs. I'm not, you know, out there. Like when I work with you, I can go as hard as you're willing to go.
Right.
For your career, for your project, for whatever it is. But I can never exceed that. Then it becomes the M80 show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to keep it eye to eye. And it's very hard to find artists that want to be on that level with me because I'm a fucking go-getter. I'm a worker. Agallah, he's got to know his best days are behind him. Priest has to know his best days are behind him. Like, you know, I heard that he recently released an album that was more like a rap album, like he should be doing. But he went through that whole lane of like poetry albums that no one gives a fuck about, dude.
Right, but you challenged Agallah to a fight, and you said if he wins, you'll give him 10,000 or something like that.
I'd give him $10,000 in a record deal, and due to our financial like equivalents, if I win or when I win, he'd have to buy me a turkey sandwich. I hope he can afford it because my sandwiches are usually around $20. They're not cheap sandwiches.
You went crazy and started selling his beats and his verses that you have licensed.
$8.
Right, for $8, mad cheap, devaluing his work, which is just so cynical and intelligent at the same time. It's just like fucking genius.
But do you know why $8?
Because you're the 8 god.
No, that's part one, but also Adolf the assassin.
Right.
Yeah, there's always shit going on up here, bro.
But the part that had me dying the most was when you were in front of the Sizzlers. Okay, because I was watching the whole thing so close. Like, where can I get a steak dinner? And next thing you know, you Google says Sizzlers for real cheap, right? And next thing you know, you're in front of the Sizzlers sign, you're filming, and then you're inside the Sizzlers cutting up the steak. It's just a full-on play-by-play. It's just insane.
At that point in time for lunch, we'd only made like a couple $100. But by the end of the day, I think we made like $600-700. So then for my steak and lobster tail that I had for dinner, because I had it twice, that shit was from like STK or Mastro's or something. That was the good shit.
Oh my gosh, man. And then you posted that one video of a crackhead saying that was him that was singing Sweet Child of Mine, right? Wasn't it?
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah.
you were wrong for that one. That was a little too much, M80. Okay, that was crazy, man.
There are no bounds in war, bro.
I told you, remind me to never beef with you because like you just
don't do it.
You're just insane, you know? What did you think of Iron Sheik telling you to leave Agallah alone? Man, roll the clip.
I told him to leave Agallah alone, really. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to really, you know, Agallah has been through the mill. Like every 3 months, Agallah is going through something with somebody. So like, that's why I'm like, wow, it's like beating up on somebody that, you know what I mean? Like, and Agallah is not no sucker. He's not no punk or nothing like that. I'm not saying, you know, leave the poor boy alone, that type of shit, but what do you gain by, you know, doing all this? You gain nothing. You know what I'm saying? But frustration. Like, just leave it alone. Like, it's not worth, you know, you sending out threats. You know, I'm going to punch you in your face when I see you on site, Like, you're going to go to where the man is and you're going to do that. And it's back, it's for both parties. Leave each other alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because he, like, for instance, I got Iron Sheik's record deal, and one of the videos was like an Agallah solo song. It's an awesome video, by the way. But I'm like, I'm not promoting this. Like, you can still release it, but I'm not. And he's like, come on, man. I'm like, no. Like, here's my PR people. You talk to them, let them do their job. And Sheik just kind of dropped the ball on getting the assets over after the first video, which I believe was the Shabazz the Disciple video. But there was like 3 or 4 other videos that I don't even know if they ever saw the light of day.
Mm. Yeah, but what did you think about him like defending Agallah and saying that like
it's fine. It's fine. I think she can definitely identify with Agallah's struggles. You know, it's not. Look, I mean, Agallah definitely has had a more prosperous career than Sheik. Like, I don't think either of them would take any qualms with me saying that. But remember, dude, this rap shit will mentally break you the fuck down, dude. So, everyone hates the guy doing well, and I'm that guy. So it's okay. It's okay for Sheik to identify more with like Agallah's struggles as a fellow producer, as an artist, yeah. I'm speaking from the even though I started the game as MA the artist, I think it's safe to say that people understand now that I'm speaking from the artist, or sorry, from the A&R and the executive standpoint. I'm not delusional. I don't equate my fame as the executive with my fame as the artist. I understand they're different things. Like, I'm able to do a pie chart every year and see what M80 music makes, like me actually rapping, for like streams and sales and the few features I do a couple, every year, and the show here and there, versus the millions of records we sell on as me as the executive.
So I didn't realize that back in 2021, Agallah challenged you and Canibus to a fight, where at the event after the fight was over, you guys would perform for the crowd. That was the idea?
Yeah, that was Agallah's idea. And I don't see how that would be possible after I break his fucking jaw.
What was your reaction when you saw him post the video? Because you said that in the book, you said it was like in a dark room, like a basement.
It looks like he lives in someone's basement next to the fucking washer and dryer combo. Like, he's not at a laundromat. That's someone's basement that told him he could put a cot down there or some shit. But Agallah does weirdo shit like that, dude. Like, Agallah came here for a show. And like, I write about it in the book too. He came here for the fucking Cage vs. Collins show and like didn't leave for like 8 months. But like literally was flown, like had like a round trip flight to and back for the show. And that's what people do when they come to California. They just like want to like set up shop here, never leave. And they want to like, like acknowledge like they don't have a life somewhere else. And then once you become like a couch surfer like that, you kind of never grow out of it. Like, that's C-Ray's Wall's entire fucking steez.
Whoa. Before we get into him though, okay? But like, as a human being, because when I read the chapter about Agallah, it seemed like you genuinely forgave him plenty of times. You took him back, like, like you felt real bad for the guy, right? And
yes,
it's like you reached the point where he was like, enough is enough. And now, even with the book getting released, even if you didn't do the interview with me before, all of the stuff that you said in the interview prior was going to come out anyway. So it wasn't like you were being used by me to go at him or anything. You were going to reveal the information regardless, right? But now...
Yeah, and his chapter would have ended on a lot better note.
Right.
It would have ended like, all's forgiven and I wish you the best. But instead, it ends with like, this motherfucker just can't stop.
And now,
I got to put you down.
Now you put out a bookmark that comes with the book, and on the back, the front is the cover of the book. The back is a picture of Agallah with the teeth, looking like a mouth guard, which is just insane. Like, what goes on in your mind to make you think to even do something like that?
My brain never shuts off. I don't sleep like through the night. Like, I don't ever get like an 8-hour, like sleep. I sleep for a couple hours and then like my brain makes me get up and I could just lay there in bed for like another hour or 2 hours and like go back to sleep that way. So it's like, it was literally, I think it was after midnight one night and I was just like started laughing and I went and found that photo in amongst the 3,000 of my screenshots on my phone.
Wow. It's just crazy, man. But
that was it.
Do you feel bad for his situation enough for you to stop now?
it's one of those things. I don't talk about it. Like Agallah is not part of my daily conversation, or Killer Priest or C-Rays or any of these motherfuckers. I talk about the shit when I'm asked, and I talk about it because I'm writing a book about it and wrote the book. But other than that, dude, I got plenty of other shit going on. Like just like with music, I only get to listen to like 5 or 10 albums a year and actually digest them and appreciate them outside of the shit I'm working on. I put my name's on 15 to 25 records a year, like albums, singles, EPs, the whole nine. Like, so I can't not listen to the shit I'm working on. Otherwise I'll essentially lose the focus, or maybe I'll be like swayed by like, yo, that shit sounds good. We should do something like that. Like, so no, I don't get to listen to a lot of music. My day-to-day conversations aren't filled with talking about outside shit other than what's pertinent to me. But it's like the whole antithesis of the book was these stories where, you know, others tried to put my life in danger and in jeopardy and harm's way. And here it is.
Talk to us about the Canibus D12 song Airstrike.
Oh, that story is a motherfucker. When I lived in Indiana, I produced about 90% of the rap concerts that would come through, from your small club shows to your big venues like your 2,000, 8,000, 20,000 cap venues, from the likes of, you know, Drake and Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz and T.I. to, you know, your smaller act like your Canibus, your Keith Murrays, your Planasias, your Diggable Planets, stuff like that, and all motherfuckers in between. Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, Kendrick, ASAP, whatever. So I got this club show. It's like a 700 cap room. I'm doing D12 and potluck. And this is at the same time I'm working on Canibus's Melatonin Magic. So the D12 show goes, it's great. Everyone had a good time. The next day, I came up with this idea. I don't know how the fuck this idea came to me. I called Canibus. I'm like, what if we made I told him, I was like, I was with D12 last night. So I was like, what if we made a song with you and D12, but it was like everyone was dissing Eminem. And we already had the deal in place with DZK and fucking War Lab Records, his label. There's these guys like Sam and Casey. I think the Chapman brothers, they were like financing everything. Their dad is one of the, I don't know, owners of Taco Bell or some shit. So that was a nice bag for Canibus and me. But Canibus just loved the idea. He's like, you're a fucking evil genius. Like, so I call D12's manager and I'm like, hey,
wait, what's the name of the manager?
It's not whoever it was then, it's not who it is now. I have to go back in my phone and look.
Is it Mark Hicks?
No, this was like, I think his name started with a G.
Okay.
I'll go back and look. Well, we can fill in that void later. In fact, wait, do you want me to look while I'm doing this? Hold on. I don't know if you can still see me.
No, it's okay. It was because I wanted to know if it was Mark or not. That's why. That was the main reason why I wanted to know, because I was on the phone with Mark today and he's like, M80, that name sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure we did business with him before.
Well, I do business with D12 now, but
right.
No, it was like one of the road managers. So chances are it wasn't the main guy, you know. But I told him, I'm like, yeah.
What year was this though?
2009.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
So I was like, I got this money. Can I get Bazaar and Swifty and Conniver, and like I'll set aside some bread for you? And he's like, yeah. So I drove to Detroit. I got I think Bronze came with me. And Kevlar. No, Bronze didn't come. Kevlar came. June Mega came, and Phillies. So I had some of the wise men with me, and I got the label to give me the money. That was the marketing budget. And I'm like, trust me, we don't need to market this album. This song will do all the marketing for us. And so they sent me $2,500, which was literally the marketing budget. It's not a lot, but you know, it's a hip hop record. You don't need to go fucking crazy. I think the most I've ever spent on marketing one of my hip hop albums was like maybe $15K. So $2,500 is the low end, but it's like, okay, whatever. They send the money. I tell them in the studio, and we filmed all this. I still have it. Rap about shit you hate. And then when Canibus and DZK are rapping about Eminem or whatever, it sounds like it's all tied in, right?
Right.
So that was how that came about. And then the song came out, and I think initially they wanted to point the finger at me, but because DZK was on the song and it came out on War Lab Records, all the blame got shifted to them, which was nice for me. Like, you know, okay, cool, I don't have to worry about this shit. But Canibus leaked the song intentionally when Eminem won some award, like an MTV award. And so literally
We Made You.
Yeah. And then like literally that was the marketing, dude. That whole song propelled the album. And that was actually Canibus's highest selling record, like since that's the highest selling one we've ever done together.
That's crazy, man. So were you getting death threats behind that situation?
No, it literally like maybe for like a day or something, there was some shit talking, but everyone pointed the finger at DZK and War Lab, and like they didn't even remember who I was.
Yeah, because like reports were showing that Bizarre said this came about from some rapper from the Midwest. I think he might have said a white guy. I'm not sure, but like, you know, it was like describing you though.
Yeah. And Bizarre, like, so, you know, Swifty and them didn't care. Like, I'm sure Eminem was fucking furious about it because he probably raised a lot of eyebrows to how the whole shit came about. But, you know, I'd go on to work with Crooked Eye and work with Eminem and do feature work and show booking for various D12 shit, which was Conniver and Swifty. Then I had Bizarre and DZ do an EP together and brought Bizarre probably his biggest check of the year the other year. And he told me, he's like, yeah, next time you need a verse, like, I got you. Like, make it sound like, hey, thanks for bringing me. I got him, I think, like $15,000. Like, he doesn't get that shit even from his own album. So it's like, then I call him to get this verse for one of our beats and features packs. And he's like, yeah, I need a stack. And I'm like, dude, you told me on the next one that was for me, you'd hook it up. Like, I'll give you like 500. So he's like, no, man, it's 1,000 or nothing. I said, then it's nothing. Like, I already own like 20 of your fucking verses. I'll just keep the 500 and use one of these. And then we found out that it leads into the Obi Trice chapter that like Temper, one of the people that was stealing from my company, was doing some Obi Trice Bizarre, like some pack or something. So we gave out these verses for free, and they're all mad at us. Like, these culture vultures, they're stealing from us. I'm like, stealing what? We're not charging anything. We're literally, I own these verses and we're giving fans, they go download it, use it for free. I'm not stealing shit from you. So, you know, Bizarre like tucked his tail after 24 hours because he realized I'm right and he did get paid for the shit. And Obi Trice was like cool with it because he Corrupt wanted me and Obi to work together, and I had no interest in working with Obi Trice.
Why not?
He was already working with this guy named LeBron, and LeBron was having him and Corrupt do an album together, but like not paying Corrupt. So LeBron already left a bad taste in my mouth, and Corrupt, being a fucking team player, was all like cool with not getting paid. And I'm like, bro, I hate to break it to you, but you're fucking Corrupt. You get paid. Unless it's Snoop Dogg telling you to do this shit, you don't do it just to do it, dude. Like, I've never got a free verse from Corrupt. Like, every time I bring the bread to the table, dude. Like, we make records that make money, and therefore I pay my artists. Like, I'm not nickel and diming motherfuckers for favors. Like, I called and asked Bizarre for that reduced rate because he offered it. Like, all right, you don't want to honor what your word is? Fuck off. So Obi was grateful because when Corrupt put us on the line, it was, you know, this Temper guy said like he was getting a verse that was supposed to be for like one prize winner. He knew nothing that it was going to get licensed to like hundreds of people that could buy this pack. And then Salam, which is also another chapter, Salam and Fred Rack, they're brothers. Salam had told Obi like, yeah, I fucking hate M80, blah, blah, blah. And it's from a situation that Salam put himself in. But then Obi's like, yeah, I can't fuck with you. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, I didn't want to fuck with you to begin with. Like, okay, oh no, don't have Obi Trice on my client list. I'm not going to make an extra $8 a year.
But come on, man. But
that shit with Conor McGregor is like a fucking godsend to his career.
But you were a fan of Obi Trice though before.
I only work with people that I'm a fan of.
Right.
Like, I have to respect you and your music to even want to better your situation.
Because I mean, I think in the book you said that you were a fan of the Cheers album, right? Like the "We All Die One Day" song.
Who doesn't love that album? And that's why, just to go back to the Benny story, I sought out Benny and never Conway and Westside because I always thought Benny was the strongest of the three. I'm like, this dude's a fucking star in the making. Then come to find out, once he started getting on, they're like, this was Westside's vision from the beginning. Like, it was always to make Benny the biggest artist. I'm like, bullshit. That was not your fucking vision. Like, no, I swear it was. I'm like, all right, well, our stories just played out a little different then, because if that was the vision, Benny wouldn't have been calling me to do X, Y, and Z for Chant Talk 3 when Westside was MIA. Like, you wouldn't go MIA on your potential future superstar.
All right, but the situation with D12, right, in the song "Airstrike," did that impact your relationship with M and Paul Rosenberg at all?
No, because again, by the time we started working together, that shit was 5 years prior, and again, no one was really blaming me, even though I was the one that masterminded the whole shit.
Do you think they know now?
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably don't care though.
No, I mean, I think M and Paul both will care, but like, what are you gonna do, dude? Like, what that was in the past, and the past, If you want to work with me in the present day, we can work. If not, like, then I'm grateful for the work we had.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing bad to say about any of those dudes.
Did you ever have any conversations with Canibus over what was the real beef with M, though?
It's the story, I think, that's pretty much out there in the public. Like, there was a video shoot, and Wyclef had told him that he was going to meet Eminem, and first Canibus was like, all right, cool. Like, just cool. Then Wyclef, like, throws in at the last minute, yeah, this is the guy who wrote LL's fucking verse on 4 3 2 1, and Canibus went into fucking infuriated Jamaican mode. And rather than just ask Eminem about it, like, let in with the, like, you did this and fuck you. And it was like, I don't know if Eminem wrote that shit or not. Like, but, whatever.
I remember seeing M talk about it, and he said that they asked him twice and he said no both times, but it was like they were still not believing that he didn't write it. But like, for you working with Canibus though, right? Why would Canibus hold on to it all the time? Was it because of the diss tracks had already gone back and forth and he still wanted to keep pressing the issue?
Why does Canibus keep dissing Eminem?
Yeah.
Canibus, you can't tell Canibus anything, dude. Like, it's fucking Canibus, man. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. Like, I called, are we recording right now? I called Canibus the morning before I was going to meet Eminem in the studio and work with him in Crook and the whole nine, to tell him that I'm just, as a courtesy to you, I'm telling you that I'm about to go do this. And he was like, I appreciate that. Like, because that'd be crazy if I had to hear about it from the fucking internet, right? But then when I posted the photo, he never let go of that, bro. Never, ever let go of it. Like, and it was for, like, he'd complain about different reasons. Like, one, it'd be like, all my people are calling, like, isn't that your fucking manager or your A&R? Like, what's he doing with the enemy? And it's like, Canibus couldn't just explain to them, like, I work with Crooked I, because I started working with Crooked I 2 years after I worked with Canibus. I started working with Canibus in 07, I started working with Crook in 09. And I put Crooked I on the Undergods album, which is Canibus Keith Murray. That was our first work. But then it got to the point where it's like, you don't think I would like to be in that photo? Like, that I'd like to, like, sit down with Marshall and bury the hatchet, but instead it's you. So there was that part. He's like, I'd like my kids. He told me this. He's like, I'd like my kids one day to feel like their father wasn't a fucking waste. Like, that I didn't make all the wrong decisions. And I respected him saying that shit. Like, because that's real. That's him being vulnerable and telling me what it is. But to all his fans, he has to fucking, all fucking 200 of them. I got to put on this persona that, like, no, like if you love me, you can't love Eminem. Like, motherfucker, if you love hip hop, you're gonna love both these motherfuckers.
Right.
You know,
100%.
it's like it's. I mean, I don't think it's as great as say a Biggie and Tupac, but like, look what we got going on right now with Benny and Freddie Gibbs. Like, you should be able to love both these artists, but if you're a fucking loyalist, you know, you're gonna pick one or the other because you know of their internal friction.
Yeah, but you know, like, and I appreciate what you're saying with Canibus being vulnerable and telling you that though. But like, that's not like your responsibility to. You didn't have a relationship with M at the time to be like, yo, I'm gonna broker this peace treaty and stuff like that. Like, you're trying to make something happen, or you know, work in relationship with the guy. Like, you're gonna fuck up your situation to be like, yo, I'm really here because I want to fix things between you and Canibus, who you haven't spoken about since what Canibus, that song from Encore or whatever, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? From 2004. So it's like that's insane, you know? That's crazy, man.
Yep. No, and like, dude, while I'm on tour with Crooked Eye, that's when, you know, we met Dave Chappelle the night before, then we meet Eminem a couple days later. I'm promoting Canibus's album, The Fiat Accompli, and we're promoting Good vs. Evil for Crooked Eye. In the tour van, I got 500 fucking Canibus posters. So it's like I'm literally promoting Canibus the whole fucking time I'm on the road with Crooked Eye, you know, like, and I do that for all my artists. Like, you know, I got all these fucking albums coming out all year round. Like, if I can get from state to state and help further the marketing of one project or multiple projects, I'm doing that. So I remember Crooked Eye told me, you know, like, and by the way, the last time we did the interview, and like Southpaw picked this up, and they're like, I feel like this M80 guy's just fucking talking shit. Like, why would Crooked Eye tell him not to talk about Canibus or not speak when spoken to or not X, Y, and Z? It's because you don't want to put a motherfucker in a mood, dude. Like, I'm a guest in the house of Eminem. I'm not going to speak just to hear my own fucking voice. Like, if he wants to talk to me, I'll talk. And thankfully, we had a great conversation, you know? I'm also not going to interrupt Crooked Eye's workflow and be like, hey, by the way, I worked on the new Canibus album, and Eminem, would you like a poster? Like, there's just like, you know, simple dumb shit not to do. So respect it. Like,
yeah, and you know, in Southpaw, they've covered a lot of interviews that I've done too. So shout out to them for that. But to your point though, you're not there for you. It's not about you in that moment.
Yeah.
So
I'm a guest of the guest.
Right.
I'm lucky to be in the fucking room, and I'm more lucky to have weighed in on some of the work to get fucking plaques for it. Right. But they could have done the work without me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, to what you were saying about Canibus, right? Like again, I appreciate what he was saying. He was vulnerable when he was saying, you know, I don't want my kids to think that everything I did or whatever, right? But you tried really hard in so many different instances to make that happen for him, though, that he wouldn't be viewed as necessarily a failure. You tried to help him reach his potential as an artist in so many different ways. So it's just kind of crazy to hear, you know, him say that. So I don't know, man.
Dude, listen, for the people at home that might not understand, like, a lot of times we put out these albums, the fans will be like, damn, it's a brand new Canibus album. I don't understand why it doesn't get more press. And I've spoken on this before. Canibus would be like, I don't want to do any of it. Fuck them. Fuck the Source. Fuck XL. Fuck all hip hop. Fuck whatever. Then when we worked together from 2021, this is like the second term. The first term was 07 to 2015. The second term was 2021 to 2024. That during the second term, I got him to do more of the press, like Bootleg Kev, all hip hop, Shade 45. You know, they were playing Canibus songs from the Horsemen on Shade 45. So we were really cutting through. Like, these are the things you have to do, whether you want to do them or not. You have to play the fucking game. Okay, you can't just be like. You would think that if you're on social media and you have like 30,000 followers or 100,000 or a million or whatever, you could be like, my new album goes out tomorrow. And then all the people would be in the know because they're following you. There's people, you could be like, hey, the new Wu-Tang Clan album came out. And they're like, oh, get out of here. I didn't know they had a whole album or a new album, but they follow Wu-Tang on Instagram. Like, how could you not know? But see, it's like, we don't, you know, social media shit's like, we see it, but we don't see it. Like, we don't acknowledge it, but we're scrolling. We're in just like fucking like our brains are shut off when we're doing social media shit and we're just getting visually stimulated. Canibus did not want to try to be as big as he once was or potentially bigger. And I thought that I could have made him bigger than what he was. We booked over 200 live shows during my first tenure. We did great press, all the right features, all that shit. If Canibus just would have, not been so in his own head and, that's what it is. He's his own worst enemy. Then I think things could have been different. And I think, maybe that would have changed. But with him just rapping the rap, and even though, like I told you, when he went and got his job as the HVAC technician, quit your job. I will guarantee your salary and make you more every year. I will pay you to stay home and rap. And the first year we did that, he made literally it came out to 2.8. He made his salary times 2.8. So essentially 3 years worth in 1 year. But no, he just didn't love the rap life. Like, he didn't love the politics of it. He don't love the fan interaction, which 97% of his fans are guys. And it's like, he had no real love life going on. He was distant from his family. There's a lot of shit. But if you're more happy just working a normal job and just being low key, then who am I to fucking tell you to do otherwise? I just took issue with the fact he was taking money from people and not delivering. If you don't want to rap, then don't rap. But please don't pretend that you want to rap, take money from people, and then when they don't get their material, be like, tough luck. Come find me on my fucking boat.
So I did an interview with your man Lush One about the Canibus versus Dizaster battle. What was your reaction when you saw what he said about that?
What did he say?
You didn't watch it?
Dude, I told you, I don't watch podcasts unless
okay,
it's about me.
All right. I thought you, because he did mention you though, so I thought that you saw it.
Yeah, I've honest to God, I've never in my life watched a full episode of Drink Champs or Jada and Joe or any of these shits. Never, not once.
All right, that's cool. I'll skip on to the next thing. So I did an interview.
Well, what are you saying?
Man, roll the clip.
What I believe we agreed to is 10,000 up front and then a portion, a back end split. You feel me? Now, apparently, $10,000 is just part of the deposit, and then within a certain amount of time, they're expecting allocations, 10 bands here, 5 Gs here, leading up to 40-something, 50 bands at the event, right? Now, I'm like, so Organic is tripping. He's like, what the fuck? Like Lush, what is this situation you got us in? What is this fucking contract? Let me see this. We wind up seeing the contract again, and then Christian's like, talk to M80, call M80. It's with him. I'm like, oh, M80? Oh, I know him. We cool from back in the day. Let me give this guy a call. You feel me? So I call M80. He answers the phone. This is Matt. You feel me? Straight lawyer voice. You feel me? This is Matt. You feel me? I'm like, M80, what's up, bro? It's Lush, bro. I don't know if you remember me. I'm ready to give my little preamble, trying to convince him, hey, we're not going to have this money. We're willing to work something out. We weren't aware of the contract that we signed. Christian's an idiot. I had this whole speech in my head, right? I don't even get half a sentence on it. I'm like, you may not remember me. He says, yeah, I remember you. You owe me $600 for a Killer Priest feature from fucking 2008. I'm like, awestruck, dumbfounded. I'm so taken aback, whoa. Not only now am I not able to finesse him, but I'm on the defense. You feel me? He already has changed the dynamic. So not only am I not able to even ask him for a favor or ingratiate myself or try to use what rapport I think we have in my head based on knowing this guy, but he got me by the balls for a Killer Priest feature from 2008.
Which is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. It's clear as day. You're going to give us 10 grand a sign and then 10 grand a month until the battle. And then the battle was supposed to be 5 months later. So essentially, you're supposed to get half upon signing. When I book Wiz Khalifa to perform, I have to give half. That's the shit, So since they didn't have it, we were allowing them to pay monthly. So no, they knew what it was. They were just, he was fucking young and dumb and on drugs.
Well, he said that he wasn't aware that the installments right? That were supposed to be paid until the battle happened. And then when he tried to call you to finesse the situation to say, hey, can we talk about this? Can we figure out something else? You were like, hey, you owe me $600 for a verse from 2009 or something like that. And it like shocked him that you remembered it.
It was 1300. 1300 was the verse. But no, like, dude, trust me. I remember more of the bad business than I do the good business. If you do good business by me, I don't have to remember it because, like, you can always call me to do more business. But I wasn't about to do Lush One a favor when he couldn't even make good on a few $100, dude. Like, that was something that benefited him. But they knew what it was. They were being stupid about it. They literally called one time and said they sent the second installment, and they're like, it'll hit your account tomorrow. And like they were just lying their ass off. They gave us all the runarounds. And then, of course, King of the Dot said they had nothing to do with it when literally their name's in the contract and the promo video for the battles on the King of the Dot page. It was all just a bunch of fucking bad business.
Well, shout out to Lush, man. But he said, that's my guy.
Shout out to Lush.
Yeah.
I like Lush One in the present day because he's grown up now. And he realizes in becoming an adult, you have to be about your fucking business. So he was not, I mean, he's not at my level now, but he definitely wasn't at my level fucking then. So it's like, don't fault me for being about my business and on top of shit. I don't do this. He goes to No Jumper every day or whatever it is. That's your job. I run a fucking multi-million-dollar company and I'm responsible for the financial intakes of hundreds of people. Like, so yeah, your bad business day, I'm not like, I'm not letting that take away from, making sure that my other, say, 10 artists that week are good. Whatever it's supposed to be. So that's what it is. I wish him the best. And I know he's good friends with Andy, who's our mixing and mastering engineer. And that's probably a good proponent for making sure him and I are good friends and better friends and stuff like that. But like, I definitely didn't respect the bullshit at the time, and I won't stand for it now.
Right. Yeah, but
We're like, grow the fuck up.
When you got brought up, though, he said, he was like, man, M80, like he spoke very positively about you. He said that guy's really on his business tip, man. And I salute him basically. So
thank you.
He was just saying that it took him back by surprise that he knew he couldn't finesse the situation after you brought up that he owed money still.
And that's what I heard the other day when I was hanging out with Benny. There are still people in his camp that were upset. Like, they knew my intentions were righteous. They knew I was only there to help, but they couldn't finesse me. And so some people felt a way about not being able to get over on me. Like, I didn't get beaten for any money. I was okay with getting back just what I put into it. And it's like, why would you be mad that I still want to come around? Like, all you people can benefit from me. Just like when I teach my A&R clinics on Tuesday. I don't do that shit for me. I do that to give game to the world, to those that want to seek knowledge and actually better their footing in the game. Whether you're an artist, a producer, an entrepreneur, a future label head, whatever it's going to be. I do that shit for y'all. Like, so it really hurts to find out that there's people I really helped find their footing in amongst Benny's like organization that don't look at me with righteous intent, that don't look at me like a good guy or a valued asset. Like, I serve no harm to you and you serve no harm to me, bro. Like, cheers.
Shout out to Lush, man. So I did an interview with your fellow Ohio brethren, okay? Copywrite.
Copywrite.
And your name came up and he spoke positively about you. What was your relationship like with Copy over the years?
We've done some shows together. There's video footage of us doing some radio interviews and shit together and like throughout California and shit. I was like a silent A&R for Man Bites Dog for a little while before this is before Rock Marciano blew up and they wanted the blackface. So they gave the job to Rock Marciano, even though I was really the one that they were calling for all the random shit. Like, it's just a weird, the Man Bites Dog label is like an interesting little boutique label. Like, anytime they'd call me for anything, like, hey, we have $200 for this guy to do this. I'm like, that's great. He charges $2,000. yeah, but we have 200. Can you make it happen? I'm like, we'll take you out to a steak dinner. Like, they still owe me like 18 steak dinners.
Oh shit.
But like, I'm not in Virginia like that, just hanging out. Like, I love Count Fifth. I love Dub Sonata. I love Black Lick. But like, I just had fucking issues with a lot of those dudes. But Copywrite, like I never got to work on a Copywrite album because he was always under the Man Bites Dog umbrella. And Copywrite reached out like a year ago. Like, I'd love to, I told him I'd give him a discount and shit. But like, to hire me is essentially what his album makes. So there's no point for him to, I can't fault him for that. But I can only like go so low on my rate and still render 100% of my job.
You have any stories with him? Any interesting stories?
Two. One is hilarious and one is just good business. He introduced me to this guy, JP Beats, that I went on to do like fuckloads of work with, probably helped pull like 6 figures in my pocket. So thank you for that, Copywrite. We did the Academy 2 album. That was from JP's company, Terminal 3, that Corrupt Executive produced A&R. I also got him a record deal for that with Fontana and Ingrooves. And then I got JP separate deals for albums he worked on. He did a compilation called The Warning that was with Daddy Real. And then he did the From Dre Till Now compilation. That's kind of like a best of that was with RBC Records. So that's good, an example of like, that's why I would do Copyright the favor of like, let me try to get my fee as low as possible to work on your projects because like I acknowledge you literally, helped me here with the JP scenario, and that paid well. We did a show together one time in Half Moon Bay that was fucking hilarious. Like, the guy putting on the show was this rapper named Crazy K, who again, like Agallah, like Rasul, or manic depressive, bipolar, whatever. So I get my deposit when I signed the contract, and I think I'm owed like $500 or $600. He took care. I think I was getting like $1,250, $1,500, and my flight and hotel and shit like that for the show. And as soon as I got there, like literally, as soon as I got to that city, I went to him and got my money, like the balance. Cool. When Copyright got there, he's like, "Did you already get paid?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, I'm gonna go ask dude for my money." And the guy's like, "I gave all my money to M80. Like, I need to wait, and I'll pay you from the door." And the Half Moon Bay isn't like a rap town. It's not San Jose. It's not Oakland. It's not San Francisco. So like the door money just wasn't there. And this is when Copyright was getting trashed and shit. And I think at one point in time, Copyright stole 3 girls' purses and like got checked like as he was getting ready to leave. He's like, "No, I was just like trying to find whose purses these belong to." It was funny. He did nothing. No violence happened, and he left unscathed and still performed and put on a good show. But I don't think the guy ever came up with this balance of money. So Copy just had to take what the guy had, and I never really heard from Crazy K after that. He used to talk mad shit about me on the underground hip hop, and then I think he cooled out. I brokered some features for him and some shit like that.
So he was trying to steal some girls' purses and got
He had
caught?
3 girls' purses. It was just walking with them like it was normal.
Oh my God, Copy. If this is true, man. Oh my God, man.
He'll tell you it was true. It was funny.
Yeah, he will.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Shout out to Coffee, man. That's my guy. Yo. What was the other one? The good business one that you were talking about?
That's what I started out with, the JP Beats.
Oh, got you, right. Got you. Okay.
JP, and like we and JP, I not only brokered like 3 or 4 album deals for JP, but JP's wife is a super famous bassist in Tokyo, and I worked on her debut album. I got her like Macy Gray and India Ari and fucking George Clinton and shit, and I extended it the courtesy of working with him to his family, and so that would not have been possible without Copyright.
Sure, man. All right. In the book, you say Cameron tried to pull a fast one on you. What exactly happened?
That story is so fucking weird. That story's weird because, okay, we got a verse from Cameron for my artist Philippe's album, okay? Cameron, we have this mutual friend, and he used to represent Max B. So the friends like fly out to New York. I'll pick you up and we'll go to Cam's house in Jersey. So like we go to Cam's house and Cam has the studio in the house, and it was awesome, dude. We hung out with him. We like, I'll never forget it because Duke was playing Butler in the NCAA finals, and Butler's from Indiana. You know, Butler got fucking destroyed, but like we had dinner and like there's people coming in and out of there, the whole shit. Cam does the song. We take our photos, like whatever. It's all good. Then like 2 months go by, and we go to Florida to mix and master the album. Cam calls me, and he's never called me before. He's like, yo, I accidentally used this verse I gave you for this project I have coming out with DJ Drama. And I'm like, dude, your timing couldn't be more fucking crazy because, like, we're mixing the album right now. And this song was Cameron, Philippe, Gucci Mane, and Young Buck. And so he's like, I'll send you the new song or the new verse, like, in the next 48 hours. I was like, cool, because we got, like, 3 or 4 days to finish this record. He doesn't send anything, which I thought was fucking crazy because he's the one calling me. Like, hey, like I didn't hear it and, you know, call him and shit. So this goes on for years, dude. Like every time I'd see Cam, I'm like, can I get that verse you owe me? To the point one time we were backstage at Rock the Bells and I had like the portable studio set up in my SUV. I was like, I'll set this up in the dressing room. He's like, no, man, like, come on, man. Come on, man. Don't be like that. I'll do it. Then one time we see each other in Chicago and, he's like, look, like, book me a studio session for tonight and I'll handle this. And like the album, we put the Philippe album out with the Cameron verse on it. It was just principle for me. It wasn't my money. I made money on the deal. It was Philippe's money, but I still wanted to cash in on the Cameron verse. Like I want a brand new Cameron verse to use for something. And so we booked the studio session, and of course Cam doesn't come. And it's just like the joke never ended, you know, for like 10 years. I think he probably thinks it's hilarious. So when A&R wanted to do this like rap royalty pack or some icons pack or whatever, I gave him the Cameron verse. And my cut was like 40 G's. And I'm like, cool, I don't need to have this motherfucker for shit. I got my get back. Like I didn't lose money to begin with anyway, but I'm like straight.
But you in the story though, when you're in the house waiting for them to record it, he told you to wait up here upstairs or something like that. And you knew it was on some bullshit.
No, but see, that was fun. That's shady. That's fucking shady because, like, even though Cam called me, which made me feel like, okay, he's really going to redo this verse, they probably already had that song. He took the verse. We're not in the room with them. He took the verse, and beat mapped it, and we came down. The only reason I didn't think that happened is because we had the whole Pro Tools session, and you don't hear little snippets of the other beat in the background. Usually you can do that when something's being like beat mapped or was recorded on a different track.
Well, man, shout out to Cam because Cam is doing wonderful now in this new podcasting career that he has.
Correct. Right. I'd like to believe he'd appreciate that story because I waited fucking 9-10 years for a verse until I'm like, fuck this. I'm just gonna go maximize the shit out of this verse I have. And the funny thing is, I talked to DJ Drama about it one time. He's like, don't look at me, man. Like, I didn't make the fucking raps. I mean, I already knew. Like,
right.
Yeah, if you were going to sue someone, you'd sue Cam, you'd sue Drama, you'd sue everyone associated with the project because in paper, we own the verse. So it's like, whatever. You know, and a lot of people, like, I heard that song or other rapper songs on Shade 45 and shit with that Cameron verse. So a lot of artists really made it work for them and had success with it. I'm proud of that.
Can you talk about the work that you did with Sean Price?
Sure. I met Sean I met him on my own accord when I lived in San Francisco. I met him when Boot Camp Click was playing at the DNA Lounge. And then when I started working with Think Differently and moved to New York, the very first day in the office, we did Still Grimy. And Sean came. And I'm like, Sean's one of my all-time favorite rappers. So like, he's like, hey, you want to smoke this blunt? And I don't smoke weed, but I'm like, yeah. Like, sure. I'm getting fucking lit. And he's like, you want some of this Hennessy? And I'm like, yeah. All right. And Dreddy had to remind me, he's like, hey, M80, you're not here to be like M80 the rapper. You're Matt Markoff right now, fucking working on this album. I'm like, okay, it won't happen again. My bad. So after Wu-Tang v. City Culture, then we had Sean vocal for Bronze Nazareth, Fifth Chamber on the Great Migration. apparently Sean had reached out to me like, yo, man, like, fuck you, fuck your partner. Like, well, what? He's like, I ain't got paid. I'm like, yeah, that's all Dreddy, bro. Like, anything I ever need from you always comes with the paycheck up front. He's like, hold on. And someone's like, yeah, bro, if it's M80 calling you, he pays you up front. Dreddy. He's like, so Sean's like, my bad. All right, like, what do you got for me? And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna put you on fucking everything now that I know I can just hit you direct. Sorry, can you see me? All right, so then Sean and I would go on to work on probably, I don't know, like I'd say just under a dozen records together from, you know, like the Academy and Wise Men and fucking The Architect and Canibus and just all sorts of random shit. But I was always like, you know, and shit for Jay Ronan. I was always good to them. Like, so I was great. Like, and I kept in good graces through his passing, and donated money to the cause when he passed. And Bernadette, Sean's been gone, what, 9-10 years now? Like every time I go to New York, I reach out to her, I let her know I'm there. And even if we don't have time for me to like come to the house to go get a meal, like I'm like, you know, come see me. This is the hotel I'm at, drop her off some bread, like just because. And, you know, Bernadette, I'll tell you two stories. Like in the situation when it first started with Chino and when people thought I was just disrespecting the family as a whole and they didn't realize like, no, it was just like the oldest daughter, like the rest of the family's with me. Like Bernadette was the only one who made a post like M80 worked for Sean for like 9 years and 9 years since he's been gone and like has literally been one of the most consistent forces like to call and check in and, you know, if we need money or if I need help with one of my records or whatever it is. So there's that. And I was very grateful that Bernadette, and she took the post down because so many people tried to make her feel bad about it. And I know who you motherfuckers are. And you should feel fucking stupid. You're really harassing them. These are people that were friends with Sean. They're like, you know, when someone's gone, like the same shit happened with Chino. They're like, Chino just used M80. Sean just used M80. Like, if I'm making money too, it's not being used, idiots. It's business. But sometimes you can develop friendships in business. Like 38 Special is business. And now is my friend. I would do anything that guy needs at any time because I value him as a friend, just like I did for Chino, just like I would for Sean. And there's plenty of people still alive, like corrupt, as we can see, or Planet Asia. I don't have to fucking take money out of my family's mouths and buy these people fine watches and cars and shit. I do that out of like respect and admiration for everything they've brought to my table. You're never going to see me with any of these people where the business is always it's never one-sided. You make money, I make money. I'm not with Snoop Dogg hanging out just to hang out. If you see a photo of me and Snoop, we made money that day together. That's what that is. So there was that scenario. I really appreciate Bernadette for having the fucking balls to step up for me when like no one else was at the time. The second thing is we did a Beats and Features pack with Boot Camp Click, and it had an Sean Price verse in there. And they're like, yeah, here goes M80 again, fucking disrespecting the dead and fucking, you know, culture vulture, this, that, and the third. The first thing I did was clear it with Bernadette and ask her how many months of your mortgage can I pay for you? Tell me and I'll do it. Like, I already own the Sean verse. I don't have to pay them anything. But the difference is I'm not a fucking jabroni. Like you take care of people who took care of you, and life will continue to look out for you. Life will keep life in a positive way if you do right by people. That's the difference. So it's like, yeah, so some people would take to Facebook, be like, wonder how much money M80's making, and that's not going to Sean P. And then I think Bernadette made a comment one time, like the first thing M80 did was take care of me. And like, oh, sorry, Bernadette. I just thought this was like another, like, people just talk to talk, dude. No one's looking to see who the fuck is behind the action. And, you know, I really haven't done a lot of the Beats and Features packs this year. I don't like where a lot of these companies have been taking my shit. And, yeah, that's that. Like I set up holytweeterproductions.com just to focus on the verses, and that's been doing fine.
What was your reaction when Sean passed away?
I remember being in Seattle with my wife's side of the family, and every year I'd go there for Christmas or Thanksgiving or something. Someone I knew would die, and so I fucking hated going to Seattle to see my wife's side of the family. I'm like, look, I need to not come here. Like, oh, you're being irrational. I'm like, no, seriously, like someone dies every time I'm here. I was sad because like I whatever they said Sean's ailments were things I never saw him do around me. Um, and it was just another, legendary artist gone too soon, man. And I definitely was not ready for that. Just like I wasn't ready for the passing of Kevlar 7, which I think was the next year. I think Sean passed first, then Kev literally the next year around the same time. And yeah, man, it's sad for sure. It's a completely different feeling than with Chino, where like I knew that he was going to take his life. Sean, he died. Anytime you lose a friend and it's like unexpected, it's the shock factor is kind of the most overwhelming.
Right. Would you say that you guys developed like a real friendship? It wasn't just business primarily?
It wasn't friendship like clearly I'm better friends and would go out with like Asia or Priest or Chino or whatever and like do fun shit like go to a concert or go to dinner and stuff like that. But like we didn't always just get together to make rap music. Like if I was in New York, I'd let him know I was around. Or if he was in LA or something, like, hey, I want to kick it. So I value like the far and few times that we spent together. But I'm not gonna I'm not one of those people like DJ G.I. Joe and them that lie like they meant the world to Chino and they were everything and did all the things and were never fucking there. Like I live in reality. Like I'm grateful that Sean was a friend. We hung out a few times like outside of the rap shit and we accomplished a lot of good with the music. I'll tell you this is fucking crazy. There's still Sean Price unreleased material. Okay. This guy hit me up and I met him at a Sean Price tribute, in New York. I didn't go last year, which was the first year I hadn't gone in like 8 years or so. But he's like, I have this EP. It's me and Sean with all unreleased Sean verses. And so these dudes from New York can't afford me for shit, bro. Like, they're just trying to fucking sell their music, like connect the dots, whatever, and keep it pushing. And that's no disrespect to any of these artists or New York as a whole, like, but that's where it is, like, So I said, look, I'll work the project for free. And when I broker the deal, I'll take like 30% or 35, whatever it is, because you're not paying me up front. Like, and even the 35% would probably equal like less than half of what I should be getting. So I spend a couple months going through the music and brokering these label deals or potential deals and finally get a deal on the table that would put good money in both their pockets and would have made me like $2-3 grand. Yippee. The guy saw the deal and he's like, wait, why does Bernadette get half? I said, for Sean, like, well, I'd rather her not be a part of the contract and I'll just sign and I'll pay her what I want. I said, nah, bro. Like, I don't fucking know you from Adam. And I'm only doing this out of the love for Sean and to make sure Bernadette has fucking food on her table. And the guy literally took qualms with having Bernadette as a signatory on the contract, which would essentially give her ownership, like partial ownership, which would give her whatever the guaranteed amount of money is in the contract. And I never heard another word from that guy ever again. Bernadette's never brought that record up to me ever again. But that just goes to show when a lot of people think like M80's bad business or this, think whatever the fuck you want. But for my artists, for the ones I care about, I only move out of righteousness. I'm only moving when it's beneficial to them. And Bernadette will tell you the same. I'm literally maybe outside of Drew Ha or Buckshot or Rock. Like I'm that consistent with Sean's family.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Of course she should own half of it because he's not here.
I don't think she cared about the ownership. I think she like the ownership is irrelevant because the publisher, like I hate having to go back to these examples, but like Chino's family, like M80 owns Chino's publishing. I'm like, I'll give you $1 million if you can show me I own publishing on one song of Chino's. I don't do that. JMRs, I don't own any of the publishing. I don't write the fucking songs. But that guy was essentially saying like, no, I don't want Bernadette to get $5,000. And it's like, what? And by the way, like this is, rather here nor there. I didn't work on this project. Royal Flush did the same thing. He put out a Sean project, a project with him and Sean, and I don't think Bernadette saw a dime from that shit. And of course, Sean did those verses just to do them. But it's like, bro, I could never imagine not taking care of, like, okay, that's his wife. Like, yeah, I don't know China in the Chino equation, but I bought those album masters of Chino's and gave them to his youngest daughters and gave the money to the youngest daughters. Like, but to just do none of that shit and act like everything's okay, it's all right. If that's who you are as a man, I'm not that man.
C. Ray's Walls. You worked with him in 2007 on your album Hymns, Psalms, and Street Songs, okay?
Yes.
What was your relationship like with him?
I met C. Ray's Walls in Indianapolis, Indiana, of all places, even though he's from the Bronx. And he's like, hey, that's a night. I go, yo, I'm M80. Like, I'd love to work with you. And I never met him when we did Wu-Tang Indie Culture, but, I'm one of the A&Rs of Wu-Tang Indie Culture. Oh, bet. He goes, that's a nice jacket. You give me that jacket and we could work. I said, all right. Took the jacket off my back. He couldn't fucking believe it. He thought I was wearing some like fucking $500 jacket. It was like a fucking $50 jacket from Target, but it was cool. But like, whatever, I'll go get another one. I did that shit with Rick Hyde one time from BSF. Like, that Yankee jacket's fucking hard, bro. I just took it off. I'm like, here you go. He's like, shut up. I'm like, yeah, I'll get another one. Fine. So Walls comes to the studio. I'm working on Hymns, Psalms, Street Songs, and he vocals the song "That's What's Up," which for years that would be the song I'd open up my shows with. All the tours I did with like Ghostface and Chizza and Planet Asia, I'd always open up with that song. Then when Walls is waiting for his ride, and I'm still working, so I go and pull up Posse Cut next, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's like a song called Posse Cut. It's gonna be like 12 dudes on here." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm putting 8 bars on this." I'm like, "Bet." So that was cool because I'd literally never in my life had a situation at that time where someone just wanted to like vocal some shit for me just to vocal it. Like everything else was like, I'm paying you or giving you some kind of consideration, which is business. So this felt nice. It felt good. Then Walls and I work on his whatever the fucking Yellow cover album was. And we do the Almighty album. And we're doing, some shows and all this shit. And he marries a girl in Indy. She lives in Terre Haute. She's ugly as sin. But, Walls is not, fucking Frank Sinatra himself, so it's whatever. Walls calls me one time, and I'm in Washington, Shoreline, Washington, which is by Seattle, working on the Under Gods album. He's like, yo, bro, like, my bitch just left me. And I need a place to stay. Can I crash at your place for a few days? I'm like, I'm not there. When I leave here, I'm going to Vegas for my brother's wedding, but I'll be back in like a week. I'm like, I tell you what, bro, go to the little. I live in this apartment complex at 75th and Shadeland in Indianapolis called Bayview Club. I was like, go there and like put me on the phone with this woman Michelle. And he did. I was like, hey, give him a key to my place. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. So I get home a week later and he's there. He's like, I just need to crash for another like a week and I'll be good. Well, 1 week turned into 6 months, and it just got to the point where it's like I was so grateful to like that. We got in an argument, and he fucking left, and I was like, thank God, because like I couldn't get him to leave. Like when I literally thought he was only going to stay for a week, I gave him my bedroom, like the master bedroom, and I slept. The second bedroom was converted into my office. I slept in my office, but during that time, we worked on Almighty 2, and he did his verses, and then he's like he wanted to keep the verses and. Yeah, the verses were so good, as he put, that he wanted to use them for his solo album. But I was like, no, I'm keeping these. Like, go write more raps. And every dollar that was coming in, like, you know, I'd get like every deal I'm brokering, I'm taking my cut, no doubt. But like when we go out, I'm floating all the bills, you know, for entertainment, for drinks, for food, for the whole shit. I come home one time, he's banging like a 400-pound chick in my living room. Like, gross. Just fucking gross. Disgusting. I can't believe I just walked into this. But you know, one day he comes home and he's like, I heard that Doughboy paid you $1,000 for a verse, and you gave me $500. And I'm like, yeah, you heard right. He's like, I would have never done it for that. Like, if I knew you were getting $1,000, like, I would have done it for like 800. I'm like, I wouldn't have done it if I was making 2. He's like, well, I would have let you kept 3 then. So I went to my room. I got $200 bills. I threw them at him. I said, get the fuck out of my house. And thank God he left. And I'm like, God, I wish I would have known it was that easy. Because, bro, like my fiance at the time. No, I'm sorry. We were just dating. My girlfriend at the time, before she became my fiance, we got a house together. She hated coming there, like with him there. He only showered like fucking once a week. He would take these Epsom salt baths every now and again, but like my place is smelling like fucking boiled veggies and fucking feet, fucking just random shit, blunt wraps all over the place and shit. And it's like, bro, like he kept, doing, we're supposed to be brothers, man. If I need your help. Yeah, bro, but staying for 2 weeks and staying for 6 months is a fucking whole different realm. And from there, he literally just went to couch surf, and from the studio to this guy's house. And that's why his chapter's like, there's not enough white people in the world to keep this man out of prison. Like, the only people that allow this kind of shit are fucking like random white people that think he's a fucking like godsend.
What do you think about his case?
I think it's hilarious.
Why hilarious?
Like, I think the woman was like his wife or girlfriend or whatever. But like, I've been in rooms where I'm fucking and he's 5 feet away fucking. So I know the kind of weirdo shit he does. Like, like that's in the Kill a Priest chapter. Like when I busted a nut in that chick's mouth and fucking then Priest starts tongue kissing her, I woke up like 5 hours later and Walls is still banging her out. I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? The sun was up. I went to bed after that shit.
Wait a minute. You're saying that a girl swallowed and then Priest?
No, she didn't swallow. She didn't swallow, bro. She didn't have any time to. I came in the Kill a Priest chapter. It's the first pin post on my feed. I busted a nut in this girl's mouth. There's 5 of us. We're all banging her out. Me, Walls, Priest, and Hussein. And for my own safety, I'll leave the other name out. But I came in this girl's mouth, and before she could swallow, Priest starts tongue kissing her. I'm like, gross. I told him the next day, I'm like, you are so gross. He was fucking wasted. He didn't know what he was doing. At first, it was just me and Walls and the girl. And these dudes went out to a bar, and I think someone told him that we took a girl up there. And so I opened the door, I'm naked, and fucking they literally pushed his way into the room with these 2 other dudes. I'm like, I hope the girl doesn't fucking freak out. And she was with it. Like, okay.
Man, so now I see exactly why he hates you for revealing something like that if it's true. Either way, it makes him look bad.
That's not what he was mad. That's not what he was mad about. At first, he was mad about me bringing up the fight.
Right.
And I said, if you're mad about that shit, wait till you read my book.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you saying that. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're saying that you find the case.
So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by like the woman was claiming like sodomy and fucking blah 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 blah, because that's Walls them out. That's him to a T, bro. He does like I don't do like perverted sex shit. Like I think it's funny when a chick's gagging on my dong and like like will choke or fucking cry a little. I think that's hilarious. But like he's like demented, dude.
Oh,
like
wow.
So it's like that. I wasn't surprised by it, but again, a lot of those shits happen, and like people don't ever get called out for it.
He's serving 10 years, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What was it like working with R.A. the Rugged Man?
I mean, the little work we did, it was cool. He's awesome. I fucking love that guy. Well, like, since it was all remote, like us talking on the phone and Skype and shit like that, you know, like Skype back in the day. This is predating WhatsApp. Oh, you know, like it was cool. It was cooler to reconnect with him recently. Also at that Rhyme Fest show. That's where we got the picture. He's like, "Wait, aren't I supposed to hate you?" I'm like, "Nah, we're good."
Well, he was upset with you because you were supposed to help him with a tour, right?
I was supposed to be his tour manager.
And
literally like a month before the tour, my brother's wife's side of the family decided they want to go on this family cruise. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to go on that shit. It's like 7 days across the Caribbean, like on a boat with a casino with fucking unlimited food and booze and shit. Fucking, I'm out there banging fucking MILFs. Like, this is great time of my life. I met Shine and Belize randomly.
My favorite part in that chapter, though, is when you said that you met two divorced MILFs and they let you ease their pain, alleviate their pain with your peen. That's what you said.
Yeah. See, I write the book like I'm talking, dude.
I was like, what's wrong with this guy, man?
They both lived in Vegas and worked at this law firm. And I remember, like, for a couple of years after that, I'd call when I go out to Vegas, which I go out there way more now than I'm in LA, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. But yeah, no, I miss those girls.
So basically, RA was upset that you canceled, and he said to you basically that I'm never gonna work with you again, type of shit.
Yeah, it was one of those things, and I understood his frustration, but it's like I gave him so much fucking notice. Like, you could find someone else to fill my shoes. And like I said in the chapter 2, the beautiful thing is I introduced him to that booking agent that has since gone on to book him hundreds of shows. And like, you know, how about a thank you, M80? That's it. And like, you know, he knows it. So, and I've never asked for a dime or nothing. I feel good when I can connect the dots for people to advance their careers.
Mm-hmm. But why did you find it so important to go on the cruise instead of going on tour? Wouldn't the tour have made you money?
Family. It was for family. Like, you know, like when you have families that live in like 10 different states, but they can all come together at one time, and it's either then or not, you know, like, so I probably could have done like half the tour, but it would have been the second half. And then, you know, you don't want some fresh blood coming in when you're already like, you know, rooted.
Right. Well, that's good that you guys were able to squash it, man. That's dope.
Yeah. And I do, honestly, when I in the book, when I met him the first time, like during the Grammy shit, I don't even think he remembered me, but he remembered afterwards at the Rhyme Fest thing and all that shit.
All right. Last question, man. How did you get dissed by Vinny Paz and Army of the Pharaohs?
Okay. So it wasn't Vinny specifically. It was Planetary. And I never met Planetary before, but I think the situation was like, we're all on Baby Grand together. I'm doing the Think Differently shit with Dreddy and Jizza and Bronze and Wiseman, and they got their shit popping. You know, Jedi Mind Tricks and Think Differently were we kept Baby Grand alive. And then you had like Purple City and other shit else. Like, but we were always the number 1 and 2. Then we took our records off and we were going to look for other deals because Chuck was being funny with the money. I think at one point in time, Planetary or just the Outer Space guys, there's 2 of them, I think, called me to ask like if I'd work with them and help them get off Baby Grand. And I was like, no, like, cause I do like, people just think I work with anyone. I work with my clients. Like, I work with the people that are part of the Holy Twitter Productions roster, the Academy, the A&R firm. Like, so unless you're paying me to do a job, I'm not just like, yeah, I can't wait to help you to no benefit of my own. Like, it doesn't work like that. Vinny, I remember Vinny being upset, and this is where I'm assuming it stems from. I own the rights to a Vinny verse, and Vinny wanted a beat from Bronze for one of his first solo album, and we got the verse in exchange, and I did the paperwork, so I made sure, you know, to have ownership of it, all that shit. So I use it on the Almighty album, and it's, you know, it's like, I think Canibus, Planet Asia, Vinny, Bronze, maybe Capadonna, I don't know. And Bronze produced that record too. But at first I heard that Vinny was mad that we used it for this album and not Bronze. But that didn't make sense to me because there's like other legendary motherfuckers on the song. Then someone's like, I think he's mad because you also licensed it for another project. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense, but it's mine to do that with. But I don't think anyone ever licensed any one of his tracks before. So I could see where he'd be mad about both the things, but the first one didn't make any sense to me. Like whether it's a Bronze solo album or the Bronze the Member of Almighty, same shit. And then my friend Darren, who I talked to today, because he's in some new fucking TV show with Liev Schreiber, and he was telling me about it. He's a humongous Jedi Mind Tricks Everything fan. He's like, yo, did you hear this song? Like, this guy dissed you. I'm like, what? And they play him as like, M80 shady about, hit him with shady with the, I don't know what the fuck. I'm like, all right, yay. I can only assume that's the guy sticking up for Vinny or some shit, but I felt compelled to write a whole little chapter on it.
But I mean, obviously that wouldn't come out unless Vinny was upset about the situation or something, right? Like, you know, why would he stick up for him?
No. I mean, dude, there was a time where I think Vinny had said something on Facebook, but again, I couldn't tell if it was about when I licensed the song or whether I used it on Almighty. He was vague about it. And then you had all these people like, I think Reef the Lost Cause chimed in like, yeah, fuck that M80 guy. He something with my wife one time. And I'm like, dude, I don't know you or your wife. In fact, I've talked to you one time in my life. I got you money for a verse. Also on my friend Darren's album. Of like the same guy that loves all these Jedi Mind Tricks. So all I know is, fast forward to the present day, Vinny, whether he knows I work with Huss and all them, I mean, he does now, but Vinny looked out for Huss and Smooth and Rosati and fucking Jello Point and all those people I fuck with in the winters and Rek Ali and all that shit is like, that's family to me too. So it's like, I appreciate it. We hugged it, like, dapped it up, took a flick, the whole nine. And then the funny thing is that same night I see Esoteric, he thinks I stalled out that Czarface album, the Czarface Ghostface, which is in the Inspector Deck chapter of the book. Which, by the way, I think people are going to think that's the funniest chapter in the whole book.
Right. Well, shout out to Vinny, man. Truly a legend. You know what I mean? Jedi Mind Tricks, that whole thing, bro. Like, that's just such a crazy movement.
I like the fact that, like, as you get to know from the book, I mean, my drug dealing history was very, very prominent. So, like, in that verse where he's talking about hustling outside the Outback Steakhouse, that was my favorite part, where I was like, I called all the Outback Steakhouses in greater Pennsylvania, and they don't know you, bro.
That was the hilarious part, that the fact that when I read that you called all those Outback Steakhouses and they offered you coupons and stuff like that, or free bloomin' onions, whatever. I was like, this is such a fucking M80 thing to do. And the fact that he got so excited that he got free food out of it too. I was like, yo, this guy has been consistent for so many years.
And by the way, when I told the VP coordinator at the Golden Steer, which is my favorite restaurant in America, I was like, I worked you into my book. And then when I went there a couple weeks ago, they like, here's a bottle of wine for you, Mr. Markov, and please, dessert and appetizers are on us. And then, I think my average dinner there is like $300 just for me. So that was nice.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, M80, my brother, man, this is definitely another one for the books. Speaking of books, you can purchase his book now at 100ways.myshopify.com. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Enjoy my book, enjoy the albums, and keep striving in the name of hip hop.